Good morning. Good to be with you this morning, and continuing on our series, building healthy Christian, building on healthy Christian business leaders. The four principles that we have, the four pillars. Good morning, Jeremy. Good to have you with me. Anyways, the four pillars are healthy relationships, biblical financial values, biblical spirituality, and then balanced living. And this week we're dealing with balanced living, number 4. And the series this week is resting without guilt. On Monday we talked about how God rested. And then on yesterday we talked about the Sabbath day. And today, the simple question, what is rest? And I know this may sound kind of, obviously we kind of all know what rest is, right? Well, first of all, rest is both a verb and a noun. As a verb, it talks about the fact that we cease work or movement in order to relax, refresh oneself, and be recovered or recover strength. As a noun, it talks about the instance of or period of relaxing or ceasing to engage in strenuous, stressful activity. Jesus actually promises rest. In Matthew chapter 11, verse 28, he says, "If you are weary and heavy laden, come to me and I will give you rest." And of course, the rest that he's talking about ultimately is the rest that we gain when we come into his presence one day when we leave this place, but also in this life as well. He gives us rest. We can rest in him, trusting that he has saved us and will bring us into his glory one day. So Jesus, offers to to take away our burden and to carry it for us. And of course, he made provision of that through the cross. What about rest here and now? What is rest in this life at this time? What would we say resting is? Well, yesterday, again, we talked about the concept of the Sabbath and how often people have all kinds of rules about what you can and can't do or what you should and shouldn't do. You could not work on that day, and many made that day Sunday. And so a lot of times Christians would say, well, Sunday is the Sabbath day for us, and that's the day that we cannot work and we need to rest. And again, you can get into all kinds of debates on that topic, and I'm not going to do that here now. But not working on the Sunday meant you could not do certain things. Now, my mom, a mother of 12 children, could not peel potatoes on Sunday. So she would peel potatoes on Saturday. And if we were doing carrots, same thing, they had to be peeled on Saturday. If I remember correctly, and it's been a while, most of the meal was prepared on Saturday and then just kind of reheated on Sunday. I think when there was like a pot roast or something along that line, then we would, the potatoes would be peeled, the carrots would be peeled, and all that on Saturday and put in water and in the fridge, and then on Sunday morning it would all get put into a big pot and thrown in the oven. And somehow that wasn't work, but peeling them would have been considered work on that particular day. Of course, you could not cut your grass or wash your car or do laundry or really do anything that would cause you to break a sweat. We couldn't even ride our bikes or go swimming when we were kids, because all of that was considered work. All that we were really allowed to do was go to church twice, eat, sleep, and then watch maybe sports on TV or read a book. Now, I've always questioned the Old Testament laws, the Old Testament Sabbath laws, and whether or not they apply to us as Christians. And many Christians, again, do apply them that way, and they look at, and today we're talking about rest more than the Sabbath day, and the point I'm trying to make here today is the fact that what is rest, and what can you do and what can't you do. So my personal understanding, again, of Scripture is that the Sabbath day, as it was described in the Old Testament, was specifically for the people of Israel. It was a covenant between them and God. Our covenant is made with the blood of Christ. So I've always looked at rest differently as well. So the Sabbath day, I don't see the church having to observe that. Certainly not the Old Testament laws concerning the Sabbath day. But when it comes to rest, and that's kind of where we really want to focus for the next few minutes here is what is resting? And for some people, rest is sitting down with a good book that, by a nice cozy fireplace with a good cup of coffee or hot chocolate or whatever particular thing that you enjoy to drink while you're having while you're reading a book and sitting by a nice fire, particularly on a nice winter day like today. Well, although for some people that is rest, for others that is actually torture. It's hard work. It does not refresh. It does not recover their strength. In fact, the idea of having to sit down and read a book saps their energy, and it just, it doesn't bring refreshment for them at all. For them, it may be something very different. It may be getting out and playing, some road hockey, or actually playing some ice hockey. And I'm not sure where you're located right now, whether you can or can't do that, but they get out and they do some kind of activity, and that is refreshing, and that is strengthens them and encourages them and helps them feel rested in the end. And so when we talk about resting, I believe it's very important that we figure out what is rest for us. So for me, I loved cutting my lawn. My wife and I have moved recently into an apartment, but prior to this, we had a piece of property, almost an acre of land, and I would cut the grass. And I would cut the grass with a gas mower, but it was not a self-propelled thing. You had to push it, and I would do that, and it would take some time. But what I found was that I would cut that grass, and I found it to be very satisfying. I would put on a headset, and I would listen to Stuart McLean, his Vinyl Cafe. And if you're not familiar with that, you can certainly look that up. And that was refreshing. Nothing spiritual about it, cutting grass, listening to Stuart McLean. That was not a spiritual thing per se, but it was very refreshing. It was very, it just allowed me to kind of stop thinking about all the stuff that I normally would be thinking about, and to just kind of focus on the grass. And then when the lawn was done, you sit back and you look, it was just, just looked great. And so my point that I'm trying to make today is that refreshing and resting for people can be very different. And so today, as you go about your day, I would ask you to consider what refreshes you. And whatever refreshes you may not refresh the person that you work with, may not refresh other people in your home, may not refresh other people in your church. And so don't judge them for what refreshes them, but simply recognize what refreshes you, and what allows you to become recovered and to become strengthened and to gain your strength back so that you can move forward for another week. And so consider that. And then, may we find what gives us rest. And then enjoy that. Enjoy that. Don't feel guilty about that. Don't feel like, like if what you find refreshing, others think is work. It's between you and God in the end. And enjoy what brings refreshment to you. And allow others to enjoy what brings refreshment to them. May the Lord bless you, and have a good day.